ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जायमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. We are reading from Canto 4, Chapter 12, Dhruva Mahārāja goes back to Godhead. We are at text 10, this is the second section of the chapter, where we are discussing glorious rule of Dhruva Mahārāja and eventual renunciation. So we are at the text 10 and a part of the purport. Yeah, please continue.
Generally, in all the material sacrifices recommended in the Vedic literature, there are offerings to the demigods. This demigod worship is especially meant for less intelligent men. Actually, the result of such sacrifice goes to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan. Lord Kṛṣṇa says in Bhagavad Gita 5.29, Bhuktaram Yagyatapasam. He is actually the enjoyer of all sacrifices. His name, therefore, is Yagya Purusha. Although Dhruva Maharaj was a great devotee and had nothing to do with these sacrifices, to set an example to his people, he performed many sacrifices and gave all his wealth in charity. For as long as he lived as a householder, he never spent a farthing for his sense gratification. In this verse, the word karma phalapradam is very significant. The Lord awards everyone different kinds of karma as the individual living entities desire. He is the Supersoul present within the heart of everyone. And he is so kind and liberal that he gives everyone full facilities to perform whatever acts one wants. Then the result of the action is also enjoyed by the living entity. If anyone wants to enjoy or lord it over material nature, the Lord gives him full facilities, but he becomes entangled in the resultant reactions. Similarly, if anyone wants to engage himself fully in devotional service, the Lord gives him full facilities, and the devotee enjoys the results. The Lord is therefore known as Karma Phalaprada. Hare Krishna.
Now here Srila Prabhupada is explaining, generally the material sacrifices are recommended and these are offerings to the demigods. But just like the income tax is given to the tax officer, but ultimately it is given to the government, similarly, ultimately all these sacrifices through the medium of the demigods, they are ultimately offered to the Supreme Lord. It is like the tax collector who collects the tax on behalf of the government. Similarly, demigods are also very trusted executives of the Supreme Lord, and they collect the tax of sacrifice, right? And on the behalf of the Supreme Lord. And therefore, the Lord is called as Bhuktaram Yagya Tapasam, and he is the Yagya Purusha. Now, Dhruva Maharaj was a great devotee, and he was not doing sacrifice to go Tetam Bhuktva Svargalokam Vishalam. He wanted to do some enjoyment in the heavenly planets. Kuberji was there and he asked him pure devotional service. But still, Dhruva was engaged in performing many sacrifices. Why? To set an example for the people in general. And this is how he spent his wealth, right? Because yad yad acharati shreshto tattadeveto rojanah sayat pramanam kurute lokastat anuvartate. Dhruva was setting an example by performing these sacrifices, how a householder should act, not for sense gratification, but as a life of sacrifice. The Lord is called as Karma Phala Pradam. Karma Phala Pradam means the Lord will award the Karma Phala. If the living entity wants to enjoy materially, Lord will give all the facilities. And whatever karma comes, Lord will award the karma also. And similarly, when the living entity wants to engage in the devotional service, Lord will also give all the facilities. And therefore, that desire of devotional service is very, very important for a devotee. And one should always desire of a favorable atmosphere in one's devotional service, and eventually one will be really surprised. You know how one's situations will change in so many different ways, and how some amazing things one can become a nimitta in the hands of the Supreme Lord. Nimitta matra bhava samvyasachana. Text 11, beautiful verse, will recite this. सर्वात्मनच्युते सर्वे
सर्वात्मनि अच्युते सर्वे
तीव्रौघां भक्तिमुद्वहन्
तीव्रौघां भक्तिमुद्वहम्
ददर्शात्मनि भूतेषु
ददर्शात्मनि भूतेषु
तमेवावस्थितं विभुम्.
तमैवावस्थितं विभुम्.
Translation.
Translation. Dhruva Mahārāja rendered devotional service unto the Supreme, the reservoir of everything, with unrelenting force. While carrying out his devotional service to the Lord, he could see that everything is situated in him only, and that he is situated in all living entities. The Lord is called Achyuta because he never fails in his prime duty to give protection to his devotees. Purport. Not only did Dhruva Mahārāja perform many sacrifices, but he carried on his transcendental occupation of engagement in the devotional service of the Lord. The ordinary karmis who want to enjoy the results of fruitive activities are concerned only with sacrifices and ritualistic ceremonies as enjoined in the Vedic Shastras. Although Dhruva Mahārāja performed many sacrifices in order to be an exemplary king, he was constantly engaged in devotional service. The Lord always protects his surrendered devotee. A devotee can see that the Lord is situated in everyone's heart, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hridayashe Rujuna Disa Thati. Sorry. Ordinary persons cannot understand how the Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, but a devotee can actually see him. Not only can the devotee see him outwardly, but he can see with spiritual vision that everything is resting in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as described in Bhagavad Gita, Matasthani Sarva Bhutani. That is the vision of a Mahabhagavata. He sees everything others see, but instead of seeing merely the trees, the mountains, the cities, or the sky, he sees only his worshipable Supreme Personality of Godhead in everything, because everything is resting in him only. This is the vision of the Mahabhagavata. In summary, a Mahabhagavata, a highly elevated pure devotee, sees the Lord everywhere as well as within the heart of everyone. This is possible for devotees who have developed elevated devotional service to the Lord. As stated in the Brahma Samhita 5.38, Prema Jnana Achurita Bhakti Vilochanena. Only those who have smeared their eyes with the ointment of love of Godhead can see everywhere the Supreme Lord face to face. It is not possible by imagination or so-called meditation. Hare Krishna.
Now, this is how Dhruva he performed his devotional service. Sarvatmani achyute sarve tivraugham bhakti mudvahan. Dhruva rendered devotional service with unrelenting force. Tivraugham bhakti mudvahan. You know, one very tremendous example of Tivraugham Bhakti Mudvahan. If you want to see in contemporary times, you can really see the example of His Grace Radhesham Prabhu. What relentless! You know, this is the only word, relentless. Morning 4 o'clock, he has started reading now. Almost 500 devotees, 800 devotees join him in the morning. Morning 4 to 4:20, Chaitanya Bhagavat he reads. 4:30, he needs some time to just pack up the things. 4:30 he will join morning program. 4:30 to 5:30, Mangalarti, Narsingarati, Tulasi Arati. Then the our Shikshashtakam, Namaparad. Then every day he speaks wherever he is, Japa talks. And then chanting, almost like 5:15 to 7 o'clock chanting. 7 o'clock, he goes for Harinam Sankirtan. Right, every day. 7 to 7:30, he will go for Harinam Sankirtan, 7:30. Then there is Darshanarti, 7:45 Guru Arti. Then 8:15 Bhagavatam, most of the time, wherever he is, because he is the personality, he only gives Bhagavatam. He has to give Bhagavatam. This is the second class of his day. Then, Bhagavatam will go on till 9:15. 9:15, he will take breakfast at 10 o'clock. 10 to 12, he has third class of the day. Then there is some time for some, meeting the devotees, something like that. Afternoon, he has two more classes, evening, two more classes. And concludes the day with another reading, 8:40 to 9 o'clock. And then another reading is going on where another 700-800 devotees join him for reading. Tivraugham Bhakti Mudvaham. Right? This is called as relentless devotional service. Relentless. Right? While carrying out his devotional service, he could see everything situated in the Supreme Lord, and he situated in all living entities. Right? The Lord is called as Achyuta. Now look at this, very powerful line this is. The Lord is called as Achyuta. Why? Because he never fails in his prime duty. What is the prime duty of the Supreme Lord? Prime duty. Okay, there is no duty to the Supreme Lord. Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. Natasya karyam. There is no duty. But the Lord has one prime duty. And that prime duty is to give protection to his devotees. So the Lord is called Achyuta, not because he doesn't fall down. There is no question of falling for the Lord. He is Achyuta because he never fails in his prime duty, and that is protection to his devotees. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains, not only Dhruva Maharaj performed many sacrifices, he performed his transcendental occupation, devotional service, in a relentless manner. Right. He performed many sacrifices, of course, because he was an exemplary king, but he was constantly engaged in devotional service. This is very important. That, sometimes we want to take a break for this and break for that. And so many times the break will become huge break. Of course, again, everything that we discuss has to be applied as per time, place, circumstances. But still, one should not unnecessarily break because break breaks. This is very important thing. Break breaks, and therefore one should never break. We should never break reading Bhagavatam, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, chanting the holy names. One reason or another, if we start breaking, chanting our 16 rounds, increasing our rounds, one should always be on the path of progressive devotional service. Again, keeping time, place, circumstances in mind, and without disturbing, the natural course of action that one is situated in. So intelligently, one has to act like this. Srila Prabhupada further quotes Bhagavad Gita that how the next part of the purport is how Dhruva Maharaj saw Kṛṣṇa everywhere. Ishvara sarva bhutanam riddheshe arjuna tishtati. That the Supreme Lord is situated in everybody's heart. Where? This is the verse. Ishvara sarva bhutanam riddheshe Arjuna tishtati. Arjuna, Ishvara is residing in the heart of every living entity. Right? So, ordinary person cannot understand this, how the Lord is situated in everybody's heart, but a devotee can actually see him. You just cannot be a cardiologist, open the heart and show that, oh, where is God? I did not find. Just like, Russian astronomers, they went up and the Marxist government, they say that you are going up, sitting in the Sputnik and all that. Did you see God up in the sky? They said, no, sir, there is no God. And they said, hey, see, our people went up also in the sky. They saw there is no God. So one may go up like that, he will not see God. One may go inside the heart, one may not. But within the heart, there is a region which is, I'm not a a medicinal practitioner by this thing, but there are many great personalities in this group who can explain. But there is a region within the heart which is the constantly pulsating with the plus minus. There is, and this is the entire strength of the body is coming from that particular point. And Prabhupada says that is the place where the heart is situated. We have read this in Science of Self-Realization, right? So the Supreme Lord is situated in everybody's heart, and thus devotee, by the strength of his devotional service, he can see the personality of Godhead everywhere. How? In the beginning stage, he will see as the energy of the Lord, and later he will actually see the Lord face to face. And that is called as the vision of a Mahabhagavat. So instead of merely seeing the world, the devotee of the Lord, Sthavar Jangama na dekhi, he will see Ishtadeva Spurti. Just like, you go to somebody's house, we will see so many things are, I mean, typical house. If you go, you will see some socks are there, this are there, so. But when the mother sees, mother will see the child everywhere in the house. Mother will say, oh, my baby's socks are there. Oh, my baby's nappy is there. Oh, my baby's, this toy is there. So, although the socks is socks, it is made up of the cotton, but that cotton will remind the mother of the baby, right? Although, so it is actually the matter, but it reminds somebody else. Similarly, for a devotee, he will not see Sthavar Jangama. He will see the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And how to do that? That is exactly explained in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Keshu keshu cha bhaveshu chintyosi bhagavan maya. This is Arjuna's question. That, my dear Lord, how I can see you in different forms, different ways. Keshu keshu cha bhaveshu. And then, the Lord also gives a very detailed answer to this. How to see me everywhere. In summary, Prabhupada says, this is the vision of Mahabhagavat. So our vision should progressively convert into Shastra Chakshu. We see, but progressively we should try to see how the Shastras want us to see. Progressively, over the years, with practice of devotional service. So this is the Mahabhagavat, who is a highly elevated pure devotee. He sees the Lord everywhere as well as within himself. Brahma Samhita confirms this. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santaha sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti. See, when we are in love with something, we will always see that personality everywhere. This is so natural, So I had one funny example myself, but we'll let it go. So Prabhupada says this is not possible. This is not some mental adjustment. No, this is not imagination. Neither it is meditation. This is the natural state of a personality in when he is in love with the Supreme Lord. That's what we see, right? Prahlad Maharaj. It is not that he's artificially thinking, oh, he's the body, within the body, there is a subtle body, gross body, subtle body, the soul within, the soul is part and parcel. No, naturally they will be reminded. Rupa Goswami gives the example just like Yuvak Yuvati, right? When they are in love with each other, the teenagers typically, they will be, just in that their own world only, right? So this is the condition of the devotee of the Supreme Lord, pure devotee of the Supreme Lord. Text 12. Again, a beautiful verse, but will not recite. Tamevam Shila Sampannam Brahmanyam Deenavatsalam Goptaram Dharma Setunam Menire Pitaram Prajah. Translation.
Dhruva Maharaj was endowed with all godly qualities. He was very respectful to the devotees of the Supreme Lord and very kind to the poor and innocent, and he protected religious principles. With all these qualifications, he was considered to be the direct father of all the citizens. Purport. The personal qualities of Dhruva Maharaj described herein are the exemplary qualities of a saintly king. Not only a king, but also the leaders of a modern democratic and impersonal government must be qualified with all these godly characteristics. Then the citizens of the state can be happy. It is clearly stated here that the citizens thought of Dhruva Maharaj as their father, as child depending on the able father is completely satisfied, so the citizens of the state, being protected by the state or the king, should remain satisfied in every respect. At the present moment, however, there is no guarantee by the government of even the primary necessities of life in the state, namely the protection of the lives and property of the citizens. One word is very significant in this connection, Brahmanyam. Dhruva Maharaj was very devoted to the Brahmanas who engaged in the study of Vedas and thereby know the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are always busy propagating Kṛṣṇa consciousness. The state should be very respectful to societies that distribute God consciousness all over the world. But unfortunately, at the present moment, there is no state or government support given to such movement. As for good qualities, it is very difficult to find anyone in state administration with any good qualities. The administrators simply sit in their administrative post and say no to every request, as if they were paid to say no to the citizens. Another word, Dina Vatsalam, is very significant also. The state head should be very kind to the innocent. Unfortunately, in this age, the state agent and the presidents draw good salaries from the state and they pose themselves as very pious, but they allow the running of slaughterhouses where innocent animals are killed. If we try to compare the godly qualities of Dhruva Maharaj to the qualities of modern statesmen, we can see that there is no actual comparison. Dhruva Maharaj was present in the Satya Yuga, as will be clear from the next verses. He was the ideal king in Satya Yuga. The government administration in the present age, Kali Yuga, is bereft of all godly qualities. Considering all these points, the people today have no alternative but to take Kṛṣṇa consciousness for protection of religion, life, and property. Hare Krishna.
Now these are the further administration of Dhruva Maharaj. Tameva Shīla Sampanna. Shīla Sampanna means endowed with all good qualities. Brahmanyam, very dedicated to the Brahmanas. Dīnavatsala, and very kind to his praja. Goptaram dharma setunam, minire pitaram praja. And thus he was always protecting the religious principles, and thus he was considered as the direct father of all the citizens. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains the word Shīla Sampanna, Dīnavatsala, and Brahmanyam. The personal qualities of Dhruva Maharaj, they were extremely exemplary qualities, and such a personality is called as Raja Rishi. Raja Rishi means he is Raja and Rishi simultaneously. Modern day example of Raja Rishi is Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj is Raja Rishi. Then, Raja Ranjit Singh is Raja Rishi. What a great personality Raja Ranjit Singh was. He was the actual owner of this Kohinoor jewel. You can go to Wikipedia and find out this. And his last desire of his life was to donate this, Kohinoor jewel to Jagannath deity, Jagannath Puri. And somehow Britishers stole, and that is now becoming the cause of entire downfall of British Empire. Kohinoor sitting in British Museum. So this is the Raja Rishi. Prabhupada says the leaders of the modern times should follow the good example of Dhruva Maharaj. Citizens were so much in love with Dhruva Maharaj that they considered him as father. And just like a child depends on father, similarly, citizens, they were depending on Dhruva for the right example and the right conduction of the government. And thus, being ruled by such a saintly king, they were always satisfied in every respect. This will come later, when the Pradesh or when the state is ruled by a saintly personality, people naturally become satisfied. Correct. This will come in Ambarish Maharaj. Example also that Ambarish, Ambarish Maharaj himself was so devoted to the Supreme Lord that all his citizens became very devoted to the Supreme Lord and they were always very satisfied. Prabhupada says, however, the modern day government is not doing even the primary duties like the protection of the lives or the property of the citizens. The classic example is ongoing Iran, one can see. Government has killed almost more than 3,000 people by now in last 1 week. The entire military and police force, and now with the drones and everything, they are attacking. And because the footages are going outside, they have blocked the internet, they have blocked everything. Elon Musk tried to give his Starlink, but then they started jamming the internet within that also. And this is the example of the anarchy in Kali Yuga. The next quality is Brahmanyam. Brahmanyam means Dhruva Maharaj was very devoted to the Brahmanas. This is a very important point that if we want to do great things in our life, we have to be dedicated to the intelligent devotee who can engage us in devotional service. This is very important, right? His Grace Radhesham Prabhu used to always tell us this. And more we become advanced in devotional service, we need to dedicate and surrender more. Right? It is not that, yes, Prabhuji, नौसिखा भक्त थे, 2 माला करते थे, 4 माला करते थे, सब सुनते थे हम लोग. अभी हम भी भक्त हो गए, वो भी भक्त है, हम भी भक्त हैं, तो अभी हम चलाते हैं हमारा गाड़ी. It is not like that. More we advance in devotional service, more we are supposed to be surrendered. Right? And then only one will become very valuable. Otherwise, that is a very powerful saying. Otherwise, that saying is called as ability without accountability is liability. Right? Ability without accountability is liability. And here one can see in Dhruva's case that he was very, very accountable to the learned priest, learned class, and therefore is called as Brahmanyam, who always engage in the study of the Vedas and know the Supreme Personality of Godhead and who are propagating Kṛṣṇa consciousness. Prabhupada says in the present times, government is not so, supporting to the Kṛṣṇa conscious mission. And as if they have a contract to say no, they are saying no to anything and everything. Prabhupada says as if they were paid to say no to the citizens. Right. The next is Dīna Vatsala. So Dīna Vatsala means one has to be kind. Not only kind only to the humans and one's praja. You used to talk about the human rights. Prabhupada says the kind also means kind to the another praja who is not going to vote for you, and that praja is, the Pashu Pakshi and others in this. Prabhupada says one cannot be kind on one hand and then open slaughterhouse on another and killing innocent animals in billions every year. So there is no comparison of the modern state with the state of Dhruva, which was engaged in Satya Yuga. Prabhupada says, Kali Yuga condition is so bad, considering all this, one has to simply take shelter of Kṛṣṇa consciousness for the protection of one's religion, life, and property. Text 13. षट्त्रिशतं वर्षसाहस्रं शशास क्षितिमण्डलं भोगै पुण्यक्षयं कुर्वन् अभोगै अशुभक्षयम्. Translation.
Dhruva Maharaj ruled over this planet for 36,000 years. He diminished the reactions of pious activities by enjoyment, and by practicing austerities, he diminished inauspicious reactions. Purport. The Dhruva Maharaj ruled over the planet for 36,000 years means that he was present in the Satya Yuga, because in the Satya Yuga people used to live for 100,000 years. In the next Yuga Treta, people used to live for 10,000 years, and in the next Yuga Dwapar for 1,000 years. In the present age, the Kali Yuga, the maximum duration of life is 100 years. With the change of the yugas, the duration of life and memory, the quality of kindness, and all other good qualities diminish. There are two kinds of activities, namely pious and impious. By executing pious activities, one can gain facilities for higher material enjoyment, but due to impious activities, one has to undergo severe distress. A devotee, however, is not interested in enjoyment or affected by distress. When he is prosperous, he knows, I am diminishing the result of my pious activities. And when he is in the distress, he knows, I am diminishing the reactions of my impious activities. A devotee is not concerned with enjoyment or distress. He simply desires to execute devotional service. It is said in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam that devotional service should be apratihata, unchecked by the material conditions of happiness or distress. The devotee undergoes processes of austerities such as observing Ekadashi and similar other fasting days and refraining from illicit sex life, intoxication, gambling, and meat eating. Thus, he becomes purified from the reactions of his past impious life. And because he engages in devotional service, which is the most pious activity, he enjoys life without separate endeavor.
Yeah. So this is how Dhruva, very important, nice verse. Trishata, sucks into three, Trishatam Shata, Trishatam Shata, Varsha Sahastram, Shashasa, he ruled, Kshitimandalam. So Dhruva ruled the planet for 36,000 years. He diminished his reactions of pious activities by enjoyment, and by practicing austerity, he diminished inauspicious reactions. The same thing will come in Prahlad Maharaj also. Bhogena punyam kushalena, bhogena punyam kushalena papam. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada describes that Dhruva ruled for 36,000 years, and it is very natural that he was in Satya Yuga, because the Satya Yuga lifespan was 1 lakh years, and progressive ages lifespan drops by 90%. 90% is gone. So Treta Yuga becomes 1 lakh a straight 10,000, and Dwapar Yuga becomes 10,000 a straight 1,000, and from Kali Yuga, in Kali Yuga 1,000 becomes straight 100, and at the Kali Yuga will progress. Even 30-40 years will be considered as a great lifespan. So considering 36,000 years, this is Satya Yuga. Further, Srila Prabhupada says that as the Yuga advances, all the good qualities, they diminish day by day. Tatamscha anudinam, day by day, all these good qualities, memory, finer aspects, strength, all this will diminish within the Yuga and then across the Yuga. And then Srila Prabhupada describes how a devotee should not be affected by happiness or distress. When devotee is enjoying something, then one should know that I should enjoy within the limits of the regulative principles, and I'm simply diminishing, right, my pious activities. And similarly, when devotee is suffering, one should not become overly dejected, realizing that this is I'm simply diminishing my impious activities. And thus, one has to not necessarily suffer to diminish the impious activities. One can do tapasya, austerity, and thus, especially observance of Ekadashi. Ekadashi is extremely important. Fasting on Ekadashi, chanting more rounds on Ekadashi, and following regulative principles, one can be purified in this life. And by engaging in devotional service, which is the most pious activity, he enjoys life without separate endeavor. So engagement in devotional service itself is a great enjoyment. So we will conclude here and continue tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhupada. Thank you,
Prabhupada. Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.